Hello and welcome to Brandy's Poetry Corner, reading from Poems from the Edge of Extinction, an anthology of poetry in endangered languages, edited by Chris McCabe and published by Chambers and supported by the National Poetry Centre. This poem is in Belarusian, which, there being a country called Belarus, would you thought was probably doing okay, but as is the way something, it is... all of the official stuff in Belarus takes place in Russian, and so everybody needs to be able to speak Russian, and obviously this is discouraging for native Belarusian speakers. It is estimated about 5% of the total population read literature in Belarusian. The written form of the language is based on the Cyrillic script and is derived from the alphabet of Old Church Slavonic. The language is listed by UNESCO as vulnerable. The poet is a Belarusian poet who now lives in the United States. The poem is called Belarusian I. It is translated by the author Valzhyna Mort, but also by Elizabeth Oehlkers Wright and Franz Wright. So this is Belarusian I by Valzhyna Mort. Even our mothers have no idea how we were born, how we parted their legs and crawled out into the world, the way you crawl from the ruins after a bombing. We couldn't tell which of us was a girl or a boy. We gorged on dirt thinking it was bread. And our future, a gymnast on a thin thread of the horizon, was performing there at the highest pitch, bitch. We grow up in a country where first your door is stroked with chalk, then at dark a chariot arrives and no one sees you anymore. But riding in those cars were neither armed men nor a wanderer with a scythe. This is how love loved to visit us and snatch us veiled. Completely free only in public toilets, where, for a little change, nobody cares what we were doing. We fought the summer heat, the winter snow. When we discovered that we ourselves were the language and our tongues were removed, we started talking with our eyes. When our eyes were poked out, we talked with our hands. When our hands were cut off, we conversed with our toes. When we were shot in the legs, we nodded our heads for yes and shook our heads for no. And when they ate our heads alive, we crawled back into the bellies of our sleeping mothers, as if into bomb shelters to be born again. And there, on the horizon, the gymnast of our future was leaping through the fiery hoop of the sun. Thank you. A grim poem, but, there is hope at the end, isn't there? People's languages are so important to them as part of everything in their lives. For other poems read by me, look me up Brandy Pearson on YouTube. Thank you.